Alright, hey everybody, Mike, Mountain Weekly News. So I've done a what's in my pack video before, but I did it while I was inside my house. So I'm gonna go ahead and click off my split board here and show you what I carry with me. Whoa, knee deep, hell yeah. What I carry with me in my backpack for split boarding. First of all, I really like this Patagonia backpack. I believe it's a 41 liter backpack. The larger your backpack, the more shit you're going to take into the mountains with you. This is just how this works. So in my snow safety pocket that's always on the outside, I like to make sure it can be easily ripped open. I've got looks like I was accidentally calling somebody. Let me end that. So anyway, I like to use a snow shovel that's easily able to extend. I really don't like the too short of snow shovels. So this is an MSR. I'll put the links in the video to all the gear, where to find it. If you notice, it's got the nice teeth on the end. That's gonna help when you're digging in blocks of snow. Avalanche is not always powder. Most of the time it's not if you're digging somebody out. So, MSR shovel. Second thing I carry with me are probes. This looks like it's the MSR Striker probe that I have. And as far as probes, we can do a full video on this in the future. But what I like to do is you basically just take it, you throw the probe out, and extend it. Always throw it downhill of you. And it looks like this is the 320 inch probe, or 320 centimeter probe. And right here, we're at 145 centimeters, and I'm about halfway. I would think it's gonna be 220. I would say it's probably up to here when we get up top. So there's my probe. I also carry a snow shovel with, I also carry a saw with me for digging in pits. This is gonna give you a nice cut, a lot cleaner than a shovel blade, especially with that little jagged edge. This is gonna be a perfect cut. It's got a little sheath here. This is the black diamond one. And then last but not least, in my Avalanche snow safety pocket, I carry paracord. And the paracord's got knots in it. This is gonna help when you're doing your ECT test and you're digging out a full profile. I haven't been doing that yet today. Probably won't do that. I'm really comfortable with the snowpack. There'll probably be a little bit of wind slab when we get up there. Holy shit, I can see the peak. It looks beautiful. And so go ahead and put that stuff away. Inside my main compartment, well, let's go, we'll do it this way. So inside the main compartment of the pack, what I like about this Patagonia pack is it can open from the top or from the back. I always carry a down packable layer, especially on the snowmobile. I don't actually pack these back into their pockets. I feel like it takes up too much space. What I do is I just stuff it inside the jacket. So there's my Patagonia down layer. What else do I got? I've got in here, I've got my beanie for the ride down. I've got one set of goggles. These will probably be the goggles I use today. These are the Revo Bodie Miller goggles. And I always bring a second set of goggles with basically the opposite type of lens. This is gonna be the Giro Goggle, the Mountain Division. Nice goggle, I think it's called the Ascent goggle actually. So I've got two goggles, I've got my beanie, I've got an additional pair of gloves. Typically I have mittens. I knew it was gonna be really warm today, and if something happened, I'd be able to get in touch with search and rescue, so not too concerned about having the mittens. So I actually took those out of the pack today. Where my pack gets heavy is I carry a full first aid kit. My first aid kit is probably overkill for most people. When I'm in the mountains, I'm typically gonna be the one guiding or leading my team. So if shit hits the fan, I wanna make sure I have all the gear. One thing that you'll hear in some first aid courses is they say that only one person needs to carry the first aid kit, that everybody in your group does not need to carry a first aid kit. I think that's bullshit. I definitely don't subscribe to that. What happens if you lose your partner, or somebody loses a backpack, or gets caught in an avalanche, or yada yada yada. So anyway, as far as my first aid kit, I've got a little Soul emergency bivvy. If the shit hits the fan, this is really small. It'll keep you warm. You could survive a night. I've got some scissors. These are actually medical surgical shears. These will cut through a ski boot. If you ever need to cut somebody out of a ski boot, that works right there. I've also got some hand warmers. It looks like these probably need to be replaced because they're kind of hard. That's when you can tell they're not good anymore, is when they're not soft. I've got an Israeli bandage. This is a tourniquet, essentially. So if the shit really hits the fan, I can lock you off. This is what the Israeli military or special forces carry. I figure if it's good enough for them, they're gnarly dudes, I can carry it with me. What else do I got in here? Looks like I've got some gauze. I've got some wrap. I've got some tape. This is, I think it's called horse tape or cow tape. It's what they tape around the legs of horses and animals. I'll put the link in the description for all this stuff. I carry surgical gloves, but honestly, if shit's hitting the fan, I'm probably not gonna grab these out. I'm just gonna help you, but if you're worried about that kind of thing, you certainly can. I carry an extra chamois. I actually forgot that was in there. I could probably put that somewhere better that's more accessible. I've got couple bandages, and let's see, last but not least, a little packet with a couple more bandages. Looks like I've got aspirin in here, I've got Benadryl, I've got Tylenol, probably a couple other little things. So that's the first aid component of my pack. If there's anything that you notice that I'm not carrying that I really should, and you've got a medical background, please, or even not a medical background, please let me know if there's better things I can carry. So I carry that inside a bag, and then I put it inside another bag just to kind of keep everything together and keep it all nice. So there's that. Okay, I also carry a full repair kit. This thing is fucking heavy. What I did is I put it inside of an old BCA snow study kit. Probably most of my weight comes from, well, I don't know. Let's start with the small stuff that I have in this pocket. So, I carry pipe wrenches. These are what the plumbers use to go around pipes. So if somebody's ski pole breaks and you're in a bind, you can tighten this around the ski pole and lock the pole into place. I also carry an extra ratchet. This looks like it's a Spark R&D one. I should probably have another one in there. Batteries. I've got AA and AAA batteries. Typically that's the kind of batteries that people are going to use in their beacons. Excuse me, I feel like I got to sneeze. No? Maybe? Okay. Spark screws, and I even labeled them Spark. Spark has, there's the sneeze. Spark has a million different screws. I'm in the sun, it's kind of hard right now. Spark has a million different screws that you can use, so always make sure that you've got at least 2 or 3 of each screw that Spark uses. That's the one difference between Union. Union's got, I think it's 2 screws for all their stuff. I think Spark has 4 or 5. I always carry zip ties with me. Zip ties are really easy to carry, just in case shit hits the fan. What else do I got in here? I've got extra ratchets, or I'm sorry, extra ladders. I've got ladders for both Spark R&D and Union in here. And then I've got the Union pin for when I'm riding with the Unions, just in case, an extra one. And probably my favorite tool is the Leatherman Crunch. I don't think Leatherman actually makes this anymore. I was looking at my article on best snowboard tools, and I noticed that this link was broken and I couldn't figure out why. But this is basically a Leatherman that also is a vice grip. You know, it's got all the tools, it's got the flathead, it's got the Phillips, yada, yada, yada. So this is what I like to use. I feel like it's kind of more versatile. It is heavier. You certainly could bring that little Spark mini tool, but honestly, I think that's garbage. If the shit hits the fan, I want to have a tool that can do the job. So that is about it. That's my repair kit. And then a couple more things I carry right in the top of the pack that's very accessible. I always carry a headlamp. I've got 2 sets of ski straps. I have more hand warmers. I've got more ski straps for when the shit hits the fan, and a Garmin device. The one thing I'll tell you about this is right now it would work. I've got this direct line of sight. once I start touring back into the trees and you try and use this thing, a lot of times they don't work. So I would be very careful relying on a tool like this. As you can see, my cell phone went off a little while ago, so I am now back in cell phone range now that I'm high enough up the mountain. So I've got two different ways to communicate if I needed. People know where I'm at today as well, so that's, you know, kind of a third safety mechanism. And then if I was really gonna go deep in the backcountry, my main ski partner, he actually carries a satellite phone with him, and he does it overkill because he's a doctor in town, and so he has a Verizon phone and an AT&T phone, knowing that both phones are gonna use different cell towers. And we've been in places all over the Tetons where one phone will work or one won't, or both will work, or neither will work, and the satellite becomes the only way to communicate. So as you can see, this is the gear I carry with me in the backcountry. I really don't have much else. I think I've got some chapstick. I noticed I don't have sunscreen with me today. That's something that needs to go in my pack, especially since I'm a ginger. I put sunscreen on this morning, but I will definitely be getting some sun today, probably more than I needed or I need. Anyway, that's a look at what I carry with me in my pack. Once again, I'm using these Hestra Alpine Pro gloves today. Really like them. They've got the removable fleece liner. My favorite poles, hands down, the Rossignol Tour pole. If you notice, there's no straps. This is a European style pole. It's got a long grip. You can either grip on it, or come from the top. Really dig it. And we talked about the Cardiff Lynx split board, as well as the Spark R&D Surge bindings. Those are both the 2023 stuff that I'm out testing right now. So